Hey guys, and welcome back. So today we are going to do a refurbishment on a pair of Ferragamo loafers. Yes, I know we've done a couple of pairs of Ferragamos in the past, but you guys seem to really like those videos. And when this pair came into our shop from a customer, we started taking it apart last week, and when I got about halfway through the first shoe, I was like, we've got to do a video on this pair. So without further ado, let's get to it.
All right, so this is the one that we started on and got halfway through it before we decided, hey, let's do a video on it. We'll just start from scratch so you can see everything. And with these Ferragamos, you just never know what you're gonna get. It's like Forrest Gump, a box of chocolates. Man, I have seen everything from Ferragamos to be Goodyear welted, Blake stitched, cement constructed, complete foam inside. So this is actually a one piece. We thought we were gonna have to completely replace everything, including the welt, and no, I'm not gonna slice my thumb off, it's okay. But once we started looking at this one, it gave us a pretty defined line that we were able to be able to just slice this off and reuse the welt, well, at the top part, which was the welt.
All right, guys, while Heath works on the other one, I'm going to finish up the one shoe that we had started a couple of days ago. As you can see, we've removed most of it, and this was a one-piece rubber sole. It looks like it's cement constructed, but it's actually stitched up here on the top and goes through. But as you can see, that sole is really, it has a little piece of rubber, and then it is just filled with foam. So it's really difficult to replace shoes like this. This is all going to have to be just taken out completely and start fresh from the base.
All right, so here's the guts of this thing. We've hollowed out as much as we could into this cavity. We left a little bit of this foam in here just because where the upper is actually lasted over and then glued down onto the insole and skive, it gets really thin right here when you skive leather down, and then this is actually glued onto that piece of leather. So if I try to, even with glue thinner, try to loosen that up and rip it out, there's a very good chance that it's actually going to rip part of the folded over leather. So I'm just going to leave that in place. And this stuff is almost like that gap sealant that you get in a can at the hardware store. You spray in and it kind of hardens. It's got a little bit of flex to it, but I don't know, just it's not like a pour-on or a crepe. So I like to use cork, so we're going to fill the rest of this in with cork, and then we'll move on to our midsole. All right, so the typical leather, the shoulder leather that we normally use for a midsole on a dress shoe is a little bit on the thinner side. This one had a thicker, little bit more robust sole to it. So we're gonna use a little bit of this thinner Martin Gebruder sole leather and sand it down to where it's pretty pliable, but it'll still have some thickness to it. So we're gonna use the old sole just to get a little trace on that. So this shoe has a really wide welt, and the heel block is pretty massive, and so I'm gonna have to make some stacked blocks for these. So we've just used some old scrap sole leather and cut them a little bit oversized, and we're just gluing the pieces together.
Alright guys, so Heath had that leather midsole sanded down where it's much more pliable, and now it is just time to put glue on all of the different pieces before we stick them together.
All right, so we have put our midsoles on, pressed them, trimmed them, and we've roughed them up. Now we're just going to put a little bit of glue on these. These are 2 coats. We put some glue ahead of time on our rubber soles, but they take a little bit longer to dry, so we did those ahead of time. So let's glue these. All right, so we've got multiple coats on both the rubber and on the leather, and so we're just gonna reactivate with a heat gun, and it makes it sticky again before we stick it. All right, so we kind of are working backwards when we're doing the heel. Normally we will put the block onto the shoe and then the top lift on top of that. But because it had this kind of flat edge like the original, we want to keep that instead of having a curved edge. So I had to sand it, pre-sand it, so that we actually don't go into these traditional, you know, these Dainites have these nail holes, and if you go too far into them, you'll have these big old gaps, and then it won't look good at all. So pre-making these, and then we're actually gonna have to curve the block to sit flat on to the shoe. So come on, let's go. All right, so you can see how we actually had to carve out the leather right here to give a curve, and that curve had to be 3-dimensional all the way around, and that will allow that kind of domed shape back here so it will sit flush. All right, so we'll put some glue on this, and we'll stick the heel and nail it.
All right, guys, so the last thing that we're going to do is polish up these shoes for the customer before we ship them back out. One of the things that I did want to mention about these shoes is that this is a closed pore leather. Basically, if you have a pair of shoes that you never have to shine and they just remain shiny, that's probably what you have. What it basically is a leather that has just been sanded down so much that it's stripped away the open pores of the leather, and then it has been covered over with almost like an acrylic type of film, and that is what provides it shine. When a company does that, unfortunately, it takes away the ability to absorb a lot of the pigments and the waxes from the conditioners or the shoe creams and the waxes that you're using. So one of the things that we will use on this one is the Saphir Beaute de Cuir. Yes, I know for you French speakers out there, I probably messed that up really bad, so don't correct me. I don't speak French. I just like to call it the Saphir Blue Line. But you could really use any type of cream on this type of shoe because, again, it does not absorb any of that, any of the conditioners or whatnot. So all you're really trying to do is just get a little bit of a shine. You could also use like Ferragamo or Angelus or any of the other brands out there. But for this tutorial, we're just going to use some of the Blue Line, and then you will just simply apply it to the shoe and just let it dry. And one of the other things about using this type of cream as opposed to the MDO or the Medal d'Or line of the Saphir products is this is a fast drying cream. If you try to put some of the Medal d'Or cream on here, it will literally sit for an hour or more, and then when you try to buff it off, it just kind of smears everywhere. At least that's what I found, because again, the leather is not absorbing all of the conditioners from that cream. I just find that it's not the best product to use. All right, ladies and gents, so we have finished this pair of Ferragamo loafers. As you can see, when these shoes came in, we were taken by surprise. These were filled up with a lot of foam on the inside. We knew it was a one-piece sole, but we didn't know what the inside, we just figured it was gonna be all rubber. So all of that foam was, a bit of a surprise to us. But we had to cut all of that off, stripped everything down to the welt, and then we put on Dainites and built the heel back up to look a little bit more like the original, and added some blue stitching just because we wanted to give it a little bit of a pop of color. The shoe was all black, and I think that blue just looks pretty good on it. And then we finished these off with a little bit of a shine, and now the shoes are good to go and ready to be sent back to the customer. All right, so that just about does it. If you have not checked out our last video regarding our sandal line, this video right here, definitely check them out. It's called southernpolish.com. That is our sandal brand. Shameless plug there, but check them out. If you're looking to have your shoes redone, or you're looking for some of the best shoe products around for your shoes, check us out at this link down below, potterandsons.com, where you can find all of that information. Again, guys, we appreciate you joining us. Thanks for watching, and until next time, have a great day.